assumption, and you make some changes, early on, so that it doesn't have to touch either black or red to get out of the loop, then the statement that is printing is going to be incorrect. And that's why it is always helpful to put a conditional statement inside this conditional statement. In other words, if it is not touching black, I will be executing the code here. But just because I'm here doesn't mean it is touching red. So I will check first whether it is actually touching red before I go, before I proceed. So that means I need another conditional statement, another if then else. And this time I will put it inside the else of the outer conditional statement. And this time we'll say touching red. Yep.
So there are no if, else statements. If you want to do that,
correct. There's no else if.
Okay.
Yeah, this will do exactly the same thing as an else if, except it just looks more clumsy, but effectively it is the same thing. Okay, that's a good question. You have taken a VB class. Yeah. There are not a whole lot of languages with the else if construct. VB is one of them, and I think Perl has it too. PHP, I'm not 100% sure because I don't.
PHP has it too.
It has it too?
Yeah.
Does it spell ELSIF?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but Scratch does not have it, so you have to use, a nested construct to do the same thing. So if I'm touching red, that means I'm at the finish line, so I will give out a good message here and just say good job and just make it go 8 seconds, and I'll just make the cat meow once. That's the only sound I have, at this point. You can record, whatever you want, which is really cool because now you can have your own library of sounds. In fact, if you go to the tab of this, sprite here, and you go to sound, you can import. You can also record on the fly, okay, which is really handy. I mean, you can do something like right now. I can talk to the microphone and record, just a little bit of sound and use it immediately in the game. Or, as I said, you can walk out to the car, put a nice microphone behind the exhaust, or in the engine compartment, depending on which part of the car sounds better. With my car, it's definitely the exhaust. I have a full MagnaFlow, cat back, so that means it's nice. It's a nice tone from the other end. So here we have, just a meow, and let's go back to the script here. Now, in this case, I should never get here because, the only conditions to get out of the loop is if it touches black or it touches red. If I'm here, which means I'm not touching black, I'm not touching red, I should print an error message and say, I have no idea why I'm here. Okay, and that's exactly what I'm going to do here, because I go to looks, I just say, I have no idea why I am here. Okay? Because it is an error condition. Okay? It is an error condition that results in, wrong logic in my own program. So I'm trying to catch my own mistakes. If I made a mistake, I want to make sure that it's here.
What if it's touching red and black? You've only specified four.
Okay, if it is touching both black and red, in this case, it will match the black first because I'm checking whether it's touching black first. So if you, at the end here, if for some reason it is touching both black and red at the same time, which is possible, then it will still give you the game over message instead of the good job message. And that's because we checked the black first before we check for the red. Okay, that's a good question, very good question. But you can also see the behavior of the program is very, very deterministic. Okay, I can look at the program, you can tell me the condition, I can tell you exactly how it should behave. So let's go ahead and run this game again, and this time it has some of the other extra features. And of course I have to, whoa. It's gonna meow this time. Now, obviously, I did not spend much time on the sprite itself. There's no animation, and it doesn't look like a little race car.
That's cool.
Anyone meow?
Eventually.
8 seconds. See? Now, obviously, this is not, a real good game because, it should be a little race car, and, there should be some engine sound, But you can see how easy it is to put something together. And you don't have to start with a very, very ambitious program to begin with. You can start simple. The original program is really, really simple, right? And you can dress it up as you go along. If you specify a little race car, you can even have exhaust from the tailpipe. Okay? Now you can make the tailpipe. You can make each bubble of the tailpipe its own sprite. Okay. Now you might think that that means we need to have an infinite number of sprites to emulate the exhaust. Well, that's not exactly true because they can roll basically like a tank, except you're rolling the exhaust fume. Yep.
Or could you have it drag thin and have the exhaust just trail where you've been?
You could, but then it will be permanent. It won't fade away and disappear.
Oh, okay.
If you want the exhaust to fade away, the best way to do it is to assign a particular sprite to it, and then that little exhaust, plume, of gas can expand and fade out. But you can only have a certain number of those things around at any particular time.
If you wanted to, could we set it up so we could have somebody chasing us? So it was a game of cat and mouse, and you had to get through the maze before the cat got to you.
Yep, you can definitely do that too. You can have your own Pac-Man. You can make your own Pac-Man. It is entirely possible to write Pac-Man, except for the AI part. How do you program the ghosts to chase after you and still not just run across the maze? That's the difficult part. Is how do you program the opponent so that they will chase after you, but they still have to play by certain rules of the game. That's not easy. It can be done. It's just not easy. Okay. Are there any questions about this program? Now, this program does illustrate a lot of the concepts that we teach in cisc310. So anyone who's interested in programming, okay, the logic part of this program, not particularly the purple or the blue stuff, but the yellow stuff, if you're interested in that stuff, you should definitely consider taking cisc310 next semester. Okay? And I can tell you, it's not just fun stuff, because it seems like, yeah, we can put together a game, so what? Well, even if you're in computer networking, understanding programming can be very helpful, because now you can automate stuff that you normally have to do by hand and have a script to do things for you. Anything that you can specify how to do logically and express it using these blocks, you can also use a script to do it. In a professional environment, we don't use Scratch, okay, to scan ports and whatnot. We can use Python, we can use Perl, we can use Bash scripts to do the same thing. So it doesn't really matter what you're doing. If you're doing it on a computer and the computer supports some kind of programming or scripting, understanding this stuff can make your job a whole lot easier. Okay? All right, so we are running out of time. I will see you guys next Tuesday. And if you have time, go ahead and play with Scratch. I'm pretty sure someone can come up with much better stuff than this over one weekend.
Are you going to explain that?
Yes, debouncing.